Hey everybody, my name is Hilde. Today we're going to learn a figure of eights. So we're going to learn figure of eights from down to up, from up to down, and then front to back and back to front. As always, make sure you're warm before starting this video, and please click subscribe and like this video if you liked it. Enjoy! So we're going to start with vertical figure eights. Before we start with the technique of vertical figure eights, I want to look at two isolations of the hips. So we're going to start with a hip tilt, which we've done before. So we're going to tilt the hip up and down. So it's like a tick-tock motion using the center of your pelvis as the point that you're rotating around. Your knees are bent and you're going to alternate your knees right and left. So as the right knee bends, the left hip comes up and vice versa. Now, as usual, make sure that you're in neutral dance position, so knees slightly bent and tailbone slightly tucked under. So lower belly is slightly engaged, chest is open, ribcage stacked on top of the hips. So we're going 1, 2, 3, 4, a little faster, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now let's go to hip slides, different technique. Here the knees are still micro bends, but you're not alternating the knees. You're gonna push the hips out to the side past your point of gravity, so you're surpassing your feet and you're creating a counterbalance with your upper body. And then sliding the hips the other way, so sliding the hips to the left and to the right. So the hips are horizontal to the floor. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, a little faster, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So these two isolations we're going to use for our figure of eights in a vertical pathway. So we have our taxine, which travels from down to up. And we have our Maya, which travels from up to down. It's just the reverse taxine. So let's start with the taxine. So we're going to bring the right hip down, left hip up, just into a hip tilt. Then we're going to press that hip out as we level the hips back to neutral. So now they're horizontal to the floor. As you're going to bring that hip in, you're going to tilt the opposite hip up. So now my right hip is up. And then from there, I do the same to the opposite side. I slide the hips out until the hips are back to leveled. So we go in, out, in, out. Now because this is an undulating feeling, so there's a softness, a fluidity to it, it's about giving into one isolation and the other as opposed to doing a sharp switch, if that makes sense. So we're going from down smoothly to out, smoothly to up and in, down, smoothly out, smoothly up and in. So it looks like this: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I keep my heels down into the floor. So in some belly dance styles, you'll see that the heels come up. This is not wrong. It's just a different style of doing figure of eights. In my style, I keep it very grounded and earthy. So I keep my heels down onto the floor as I do the figure of eight. So I'm going a little faster, right, left, 5, 6, 7, 8. Notice that my upper body stays still as I do that. Let's try the Maya, which is the reverse taxine. So we're going to start with bringing the right hip up. From there, you're going to slide the hip out to the side. And then we're going to bring that in as that hip comes down. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Now the left hip is up. Slide it out to the side and then bring that hip down as you bring the hips back to center. So it goes up, out, down, in, up, out, down, in. To create a figure of eight that travels from up to down. So here we go, 7, 8, and 1, 2, up, out, down, down. Last one, up, out, down, a little faster, and right, and left, and 3, and 4, and 5, 6, 7, 8. Good job. Let's try that to the music. Let's start with my figure of 8 from down to up. Taxi. 5, 6, 7, 8, and right. Left. Right. 4 more. 3, 2. Last one. Little faster. And right. Left. Right. Left. Let's go slow, slow, and quick, quick, slow. Slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. 4, slow, quick, quick, slow. Back to slow, and slow. A little faster. And 5, 6, 7, 8. Nice. Let's go into a Maya now from up to down. 5, 6, 7, 8. And up, over, down. Right hip, left hip. Little faster. And 1, 2, 3. Feel free to change the arms if your arms are getting tired. 6, 7, 8. We go slow, slow, quick, quick, slow. Quick, quick, slow. 4 more. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. 2 more. Last one. Let's go back to slow and right. Left, right, left. 4, 3, 2, little faster. And right, left, right, left, right, left. 2, and 1, and finish. Good job. So now we're going to look at horizontal figure eights. Very similar in the fact that we're still making a figure eight pattern, but this time we're going to travel horizontally as opposed to vertically. So for this we need an extra isolation. So we already did our slides earlier. We're not going to use a hip tilt for horizontal figure eights, but we're going to use a hip twist. So my right hip is going to twist forwards as my left hip pulls back, and then I'm going to alternate. Now with twists, you always have to be careful that you don't twist past your limits because it can injure your knee. So you want to really feel like it's a hip twist as opposed to you're pushing too far and it's going to go into your knee. So we're going to twist right forwards and left forwards. This is a very soft movement. So we could do this sharp, but for figure eights we wouldn't really need that technique. So that will be for another video. So twisting forwards and back. Let's do a couple more. And last one, 7 and 8. Good. So figure of eights can travel front to back and back to front. So let's start with front to back. So we're going to twist the right hip forwards, and we're going to draw a figure of 8 forwards and then out to the side, and then draw that hip back as the opposite hip comes forwards, out to the side and back. So you're going right, round, back, left, round, and back. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Let's go a little faster. And forwards for 2. And 2. And right hip. And left hip. Again, make sure the torso stays still, arms stay still. Movement is just happening from the waist down. And then let's try the same but going back to front. So similarly, the right hip is pulling back now, left hip is twisting forwards, and you're going to bring the hip back and around. So you're going to make diagonal lines through the center of your feet, so back and around the other way. Now this right hip goes back again. Right hip around, back and around. and left hip. Let's go a little faster. 1, 2, 1, 2, a right and left, and 4 more, 3, 2, and 1. Great job. Let's try that with the music. Here we go. Front to back. 5, 6, 7, 8, and front. 2, 3, 4, left side. Horizontal figure of 8, and right. And left. A little faster. We go right and left. 8, 7, 6, 5. Let's take 4 more. 3, 2. Last one. A little faster. And 1, 2. Right and left. And 8, 7, 6. Front to back. Front to back. 4 more. 3, 2, and 1. Nice job. Let's go from back to front for a moment. Just shake out the arms. 5, 6, 5, 6. Back to front.